All right, future leaders, welcome. We're about to dive into a topic that's not just a high-yield section for your NDA exams, but is absolutely fundamental to our national strength. We're talking about economic biology. You see, understanding how we use our biological resources, well, that's key to understanding our country's security and its prosperity.
So, here's our game plan. We've broken this down into 5 critical areas. We're going to start big, with the science of feeding a nation. Then we'll look at the economic power of our animals. After that, we'll zoom way into the microscopic world, then break down our major crops, and we'll finish up with a rapid-fire review of facts you absolutely need to know. Let's get to it.
Okay, let's jump right into our first topic, how science has completely changed the game when it comes to our food security. We're talking about the art and the science of plant breeding.
So, what is plant breeding at its core? It's really about the deliberate engineering of better plants. I want you to think about this from a strategic angle. We're essentially creating assets that grow faster, give us more food from the exact same piece of land, and can actually fight off diseases on their own. This isn't just about farming, it's a cornerstone of national self-reliance.
Now this slide here, this lays out the breeder's strategic toolkit. Think of these as a set of powerful techniques. You might start with introduction, bringing in new genetic material. Then selection lets us pick out the best of the best. After that, we can use hybridization to combine the top traits from different plants. For even bigger leaps forward, breeders can use things like polyploidy to change the chromosome numbers, or even induce mutation to create totally new traits. And finally, tissue culture lets us make millions of copies of a single perfect plant. Each method is a tactical choice in the mission to improve our crops.
And here is the result. This quote nails the real-world impact of those tools we just talked about. The Green Revolution didn't just happen by accident. It was a calculated victory. It was won by applying these principles of plant breeding, which led to a massive, monumental increase in food production and really strengthened our national food security.
Okay, pay very close attention to this. You have got to commit these 2 names to memory. On the world stage, Dr. N.E. Borlaug is the father of the Green Revolution. But for India, specifically, it is Dr. M.S. Swaminathan, and you need to connect his name directly with Charbati sonora, that high-yielding wheat variety. This is high-probability stuff for your exam. Know the names, know what they did.
All right, shifting gears from plants to animals. We are now moving to our second critical area, animal husbandry. This is all about the science of managing our domesticated animals as economic assets, for food, for labor, and for some very valuable commercial products.
This slide gives you that bird's-eye view of the major sectors. And let me tell you, each of these terms represents a massive, multi-crore industry. You've got pisciculture, which is just fish farming, apiculture for honey, sericulture for silk. Every single one contributes to our national economy and gives jobs to millions of people.
And this chart right here gives you a really clear picture of where we stand on the global stage. Just take a second to let these ranks sink in. India is a true powerhouse. We're holding the number 2 spot in the world in both fish and silk production. These are not just numbers. They represent serious economic leverage and are a vital part of our self-sufficiency.
Now this is fascinating. A honeybee colony is a perfect example of specialization and efficiency. Think about it. You've got one queen. Her only job is to lay eggs. Then you have the drones, the fertile males, just for mating. And then you have the huge majority, the workers. These are sterile females who do literally everything else, from making honey to building the hive. Understanding this division of labor is key.
All right, let's scale down, way down. We're now going to explore the massive economic contributions of organisms you can't even see, microbes. These are the unseen engines that power so much of our industry and medicine.
Okay, the key takeaway from this table is that direct link between a product and the microbe it comes from. This is classic material for those matching type questions on your exam. You have to know that penicillin comes from Penicillium notatum. You need to remember that statins, those super important cholesterol drugs, are made by yeast. And cyclosporin A, which is essential for preventing organ transplant rejection, comes from a fungus. Think of these microbes as our tiny microscopic pharmacies.
And their use goes way beyond medicine. This slide shows how microbial enzymes are the real workhorses of modern industry. The proteases that make meat tender, the amylases in your laundry detergent that get rid of stains, the renin that's used to make cheese, they're all produced by microbes, making all these industrial processes cheaper, faster, and much more efficient.
Okay, shifting back to plants for a bit.
Let's break down how we classify crops. As a future officer, having a solid grasp of India's agricultural cycles and its products is, well, it's non-negotiable.
This right here is a classic exam topic. You absolutely must be able to tell the difference between Kharif and Rabi. It's simple. Kharif are your monsoon crops, sown in June, July. Think rice and cotton. Rabi are your winter crops, sown around October, November. Think wheat and mustard. Know the seasons and know the key examples for each. It's that straightforward. Now, what's really vital to get here is the nutritional power of pulses. Our dals. They're a cornerstone of the nation's protein intake. But pay very close attention to the exception on this chart. Soybean. It is in a league of its own. With a massive 42% protein and a high fat content of 20%, it is an incredibly powerful and dense source of nutrition.
Remember this name, triticale. It's a perfect, real-world example of hybridization in action. Scientists literally crossed wheat and rye to create an entirely new cereal, combining the best traits of both. This is human ingenuity shaping our food supply.
All right, let's move into a rapid-fire review. These are the most critical facts you need to take away from this briefing. Get ready to lock these in for your exam.
First up, golden rice. This isn't just any rice. It's a transgenic variety. That means it's been genetically engineered to be loaded with vitamin A, specifically to fight nutritional deficiencies, a true marvel of biotechnology.
Next, a key global fact. When you think of pearl production, who's number one? It's Japan, and the name you need to associate with this industry is Kokichi Mikamoto. He's known as the father of the pearl industry. So remember, Japan, first place, Mikamoto.
For cattle, if you need to know one name for high milk yield, this is it. Holstein Friesian. Simple, they are the world's top producers.
Here's a critical fact for both animal and public health. Bird flu, also known as avian influenza, is caused by the H5N1 virus. Straightforward, direct, and very testable.
And finally, let's take a quick look at our natural pharmacy. Know these plants and what they're used for. Atropine from belladonna for the eyes, reserpine from serpentina as a sedative, and of course, the great medicinal value of ashwagandha and opium. These are incredibly powerful compounds derived directly from nature.
Look, we've covered the science and the facts you need for the exam. But the real takeaway, the bigger picture, is this. Food security, economic stability from agriculture, and technological self-reliance, these things are not separate from national security. They are pillars of it. A nation that can feed itself, heal itself, and power its own industries from its own biological resources is a strong nation. That's the perspective I want you to carry with you.